Okay, so no introductions or introductions. But if any of you guys truly care about my stuff and my content, truly give a crap on my stuff, like, share, hit the bell notification, comment to the channel, and like my freaking posts if you want. If you truly give a Lucky Rabbit's butthole about my stuff and freaking rub Lucky Rabbit's lucky feet about my stuff, like, comment, subscribe. Once again, my fellow awesome, amazing, wonderful, couldn't do it without you subscribers, my original viewers, my watchers, my audience of tons of people on the wall, my watchman people's there on the wall, my absolute amazing, goated, wonderful ass community, the people over there which are day freaking one. Please come to me, just in case you got unsubscribed to the YouTube algorithm. If it's doing a stupid ass bull crap, that'd be great if you want to come back. And if not, I understand, but it'd be great if you just stayed with me. And of course, any of my people that are brand new here happen to stumble upon this channel, or from anywhere from Twitter, Instagram, etc., etc., etc. That'd be great if you could come along with this journey. Come along with me in this wonderful, epic, amazing adventure of me doing reaction videos to lots of stuff around the world, whether it's good or bad, or might leave a good taste in your mouth, might leave a bad taste in your mouth. I don't know. But if any of you guys truly care about my stuff, for real, it'd be great if you maybe even stay with me forever, question mark. But the options there. You don't have to do anything. No pressure at all. Not trying to twist your arm, make you feel uncomfortable, not wanting to do something that you guys want to do. Not saying you have to permanently stay here or something bad's gonna happen. Some type of crazy stuff like that. Just completely all for your free will. Um, and if you guys don't want to see me, it's a one and done thing. You're never gonna see me ever again. It'd be great to just play me in the background or just play with me at 2x speed. I don't know. And of course, what's it called? It'd be totally understandable. 60, 700 billion trillion people out there in the world and Earth, and that's totally okay. Okay, I understand it's water under the bridge. It's totally flashy. It's classy. It's all gravy out there. Totally water under the bridge. Totally understandable. I get it. Contempt, and I'm humble with that. So this man right here, I think it was November or December of 2025 when I first heard about this kid. He's a very young dude. I actually thought he was a little bit older, like maybe 40 or 45, maybe. But I think he's on what, like 26 or 25, 27. But he goes by the username of Mr. Youth Pastor Ryan. And I heard about this dude from like 3 other VTuber chicks. I think one was called Camila. And then another one I know is a very big VTuber. I'm not gonna say her name. It's just a very big popular VTuber out there. She's not even indie anymore. Because I think a lot of them aren't even indie VTubers anyways. They end up having like a talent agency besides getting paid by a lot of the freaking Twitch streamers and Twitch donos and Twitch raiders and Twitch subscribers that give them a lot of the money to keep going on forward to make it a full-time career, even though it's not a freaking it's 100% absolute thing is going to happen for those VTubers. That's just like a one and done lucky lottery ticket. Even if they get, whether they get 10 subscribers, maybe 500,000 subscribers, because I know with the whole subscriber shit on Twitch, that's like a whole other different beast in a machine altogether from comparison to obviously how fucking YouTube runs a lot of this shit. And I'm a lot more familiar with that because that's the obviously platform I fucking use, the one I'm using right the frick now. What I've been using since like 2008, very, very long time, even before I did video content. So it's like 2005, 06. So like 3.5 years before I did like YouTube videos back in the day. Because at that time, I cannot tell you, it took about until maybe not even 2012, probably either 2014 or 2015 when I was able to fucking finally start. And it's gonna sound real weird. Maybe some of you guys may or may not relate to me. And I swear to God, I'm gonna get to the duration thing. I'll leave the link to the duration point when I react to not one but 2 of them. This is a newer one he did because this was like 6 or 7, 8 months ago. Why was Sony? What wars has Sony been a part of? And the other one things has something to do with Ticketmaster. That was only like 9 or 10 days ago. By the time you guys see this video, it's probably gonna be Monday, Tuesday next week because very slow as hell when it comes to uploading my videos. Even I could do it after 1 or 2 days, but and I gotta do the freaking thumbnail, and I gotta get all the news articles, and I gotta do this and that, and then so like I said, this is always a one-man team. I'm all by myself out in this freaking trenches out here because I don't have 50 or 100,000 or $500,000 these freaking hire people left and right to do my stuff for me. I don't have money like that. Other than that, if I did, of course, I would definitely do it for sure. But fortunately, I already know that's no way now that's ever happening. But other than that, yeah, there's one he did about Ticketmaster. That was pretty wild. But yeah, yeah, let's get back to the VTuber thing. Like, and the third one, I'll probably say her name because I don't think she was that big yet. But I think it was either this girl that's like a polar bear VTuber. Her name's, I forget her name, Foofy or Fumfi. I think it's Fumfi. If it's not Foofy. This really cute little polar bear VTuber that has like two different color eyes. And what makes her model, I'm not gonna get too much deep into it, but I noticed her model is a lot more different from a lot of other ones because hers, she kind of sounds like that other girl that was real big in the mid late 2010s. If any of you guys remember Natasha Nyanyers, and then she ended up being a VTuber later on. But she kind of sounds like her voice a little bit. It's like her voice, but then she sounds like another chick I've heard a couple of years back too. Like but she had like an Australian accent. It was another one. Oh yeah. She sounds like this other girl, but she has a real thick Aussie accent. And then it's this chick named she's mainly playing like a lot of Pokemon games, but sometimes she plays occasionally Minecraft or Fortnite, or I think she played Roblox once or twice. I know her name's Buttercup. She kind of sounds like these other two, but dude, like, I don't know what it is. I'm not even sure if this is her actual real life voice either, but man, I don't know what the hell she does for her model, because she's not even like one of those lewd ones like how Baroxa. I'm not trying to call out virtual VTubers and slut shame them or any of that shit, because it looks really good to me. I like that. It's big time. They don't even have the big giant mega hoo-has or hooters or mega ultra boobas. They don't even have to have them that big. They can still be sometimes flat chested and they can still be fucking funny, hilarious, you know? They don't have to be lewd tubers getting the NSFW shit, 18 plus, 21 plus freaking streams that are for male older adults, mature adults only type of thing, when they get into e-actualizing stuff and a lot of like fornication, a lot of really super slutty e-actualized sort of like adult, you know, perverted, lustful, promiscuous jokes and all that shit. Like, I'm not trying to throw these VTubers on the bus. The only three I know that are like that big timer. This one chick back in 2020 when I first started hearing about VTubers and indie VTubers, like, after I heard about the big three, like Project Melody, Silver Bear, and Iron Mouse, because those are the original three in 2020 when I first heard about what VTubers were. Because in 2018 and 2017, and even late 2019, I didn't know they were called VTubers. I just called them anime hologram girls. That's what I called them. And it wasn't until 2020 I started hearing this word called VTuber. I was like, all right, what the fuck is a VTuber? And I had to look at it. I was like, oh, okay, that's what that is. And then later on, I heard this other one, like, I don't know if she's still like a snake VTuber or not, but her name is Veroxa, the sun goddess either. I know her and Cottontail VA and like a couple other ones like Spite, and even the other one I used to like a lot when she was like a Pokemon tuber, like Trikiwi, like back in the day. I knew who she was before she started going to VTube. Those are the two that always trip me out, man. Like, I didn't know them personally on a personal actual level. I didn't go to meet them at TwitchCon or YouTube, VidCon, or like, you know, like the other ones that they used to do, like not Gamescom, but another one like that. PAX, like PAX East, PAX West, PAX South, PAX North, or like AnimeCon, or any of these other conventions, all these other ones like that, or Anime Expo. Like, I just knew them through the internet for many years, and then I guess maybe, I don't know why they decided to become VTubers. Maybe it's because, I don't know, a lot of grown men and adults, maybe they used to actualize and harass and like lustfully, you know, get maybe bullied, and they got picked on by a lot of grown men out there that they probably had a lot of, what's it called? Unfortunately, I had a lot of death threats and shit like that. I know YouTube's probably gonna butcher the hell out of this video if I say stuff like death and murder and killing and all that, because they don't like that in their channel. And that's not even me trying to promote that shit either. I'm just saying the word. And luckily, I don't get freaking dying from YouTube, so I don't have to give a shit what I say. Well, to a certain extent, I do. But the other ones, I think it just messes with your freaking algorithm, like how many views you get, and you get lesser and lesser views the more you start using a lot of profanity and stuff. So try to stay the hell away from that, but it's hard as hell for me to do that. But yeah, long story short, yeah, I guess maybe Natasha Nyanyers and Tricky Weed, I guess they got sick and tired of men like actualizing them, or whenever they went to real life conventions and stuff. Maybe a lot of dudes were, you know, slapping them with the butts, or maybe grabbing upon their titties and shit, and maybe they felt really uncomfortable and scared, and Maybe they were in safety or fear of their lives, that something bad was going to happen to them. I don't know. I don't know what's going on through their heads. I'm not a psychic mind reader. I'm not like that 90s movie. I know it aged the hell out of me. I think it was like 1997 or 98, 96, 99. I don't know when. I think it was in the mid-late 90s when it came out, or early 2000s. But that old school Mel Gibson movie, What Women Want. I swear to God, if I would have had that old school power of what that was, oh man, it could have been so much more, a billion times easier to know what they would have wanted. If I would have had the second mind power reading of like what females always want about guys. And that's just to look the sexy, hot 8, 12, 13 pack dude with a bunch of packs and a real thick, tight button, shit like that. Because most of those guys are not all of them. Some of them are very disgusting assholes you do not want to be with. Trust me, I've seen how men act. I know how men act. I'm a man myself. Whenever I go out to the gym, I hear how some of these dudes talk about women, especially the real big ass buff ones, and I'm not trying to discriminate. Not all the men are like that with big bumbling biceps and muscles, but not most of them. But like good 70-80% of them, they mainly only give a shit about their own self-image. They don't give a crap what women want at all. If anything, and that's maybe it might be the same way around women. Those are the ones that are nerdy and geeky. Maybe they're fat, overweight women, like how there's for me. Big, rotund, big, giant dude, guy, myself. Maybe they just feel insecure and they don't think no man is ever going to want them or care about them again. Who knows? I'm not a woman. I can't freaking say that. Maybe if there's other female, like, EX advice, like dating coaches out there that, like, what's it called? They know how to explain it a lot better. Go follow them. But don't hang on to every single word. That's just my opinion. Other than that, yeah. I don't know, maybe that's why they decided to go full VTubers so they could remain anonymous and their older fans could forget about them over time. And it's kind of sad, I think by the time 20, 35, or 40 gets around, I don't think Gen Alpha is not even going to know whether they're guys or girls. I don't think they're even going to know how to communicate anymore. They're just going to, like, probably put a hologram in their brain and say, oh, hi, what's up? How you doing? Like, the guys and girls are not going to know how to talk like human beings. Like, I feel like my generation, the millennials, and even the ones before mine, like the baby boomer ones and the Gen Xer ones, were like the last few generations that were able to have guys and girls communicate with certain things, regardless of bullshit politics or religion or science or any of that other effing crap that polarizes people on fucking purpose. Honestly, like, we might have been the last generation. Maybe Gen Z might be the last final generation that goes on physical dates or physical opportunities here and there, and they're just gonna have, I don't know, something wired in their brain like fucking Ready Player One or some shit, or worse, freaking Sword Art Online. Gen Alpha might be the first beginning generation that's not gonna know how to physically communicate with each other or talk, and that is sad as hell, man. But some sci-fi dystopian shit that's happening. Just look at the videos that go on in China and North Korea. Jesus Christ, dude. That is sad shit. I know I've been rambling for too long. 13 minutes again. That's the second time I said I wasn't going to ramble, but I'm going to have to go faster on this 1.20. So no offense to you, Pastor Ryan. I'm not trying to steal your thunder, my guy. Hopefully I don't get copyright claim or strike like what happened to Uncle Roger. Hopefully he does. If he ends up having a talent agency that strikes my channel, that's kind of fucked up. I'm just doing this for entertainment, not trying to take any money or steal the dude's thunder away. I've seen a few of his videos in the past. Super funny guy, so it should be funny. Links to both of the original videos below. Maybe I might get to the 2 or 3 news stories I want to talk about. Let's go. Let's jump into it.
Sony, when were you founded, buddy?
19.
Oh no.
40.
Please don't.
6.
Oh, thank God.
Ah, come on, we didn't do this for the glory of the Empire of Japan.
Oh, that's nice.
I mean, our founders, Masaru Ibuku and Akio Morita, they did meet while serving in the Japanese Navy, but as researchers.
You see, you'd think saying researcher would mean it's a lot better, but in this case, it could be so much worse.
Really?
Yeah, I can think about 731 reasons why.
That is a really specific number, but relax, they met the study group.
Aw, that's kind of cute.
Ah, just like a little middle school sleepover.
Yeah, swapping notes, figuring out who you like.
Yeah, and discussing really specific development of the infrared guided bomb, the Kigo.
You think I'd be shocked?
Oh, God. All right, hold on, guys. That's where it takes a dark turn. Oh man, this is where it's gonna get crazy shit. It's the fan type of moment. And I actually looked on like I don't know if it's true or not, but this dude before he was doing TikTok and I guess YouTube as a full time job. I don't know if he's still doing it as a full time job, but I doubt it. I think it said somewhere he worked for the Department of Homeland Security and FBI. And you kind of know when it comes to stuff like FBI, CIA, DEA, NSA, and not even just this country's government agency when they just spy and just pretty much take a lot of your fucking rights away and didn't undo nothing, even if it's the most innocent shit in the world. Like you can get in trouble for it regardless. It doesn't even have to be scary shit like CP or other stuff that you have. Oh, these fire weapons shit in your house. ATF comes after you. You didn't pay your bills and taxes on time. IRS comes after you. You go to jail for I don't know how many years for tax evasion, or so you did something really bad, especially when it comes to internet cyber stuff. NSA is gonna go after you. You did something really, really extra eviler. Even sometimes it doesn't even have to be evil. It's not even just that. Especially if you try to be like Edward Snowden or some shit. The CIA goes after you. And if you do anything, stuff foreign and domestic, the T word I can't say. You know, I don't really like any of that shit anyway, so I'm praying up to God I never get raided out by any of these corporations and federal officers of the laws, which I know a lot of them are probably corrupted anyways, but you know how it kind of is. If you've been on my channel for many years, you know I'm not kind of a little bit of a conspiracy theorist, kind of a tinfoil dude. I don't trust anything government does. Mainly, in my personal opinion, as much of a super massive hot take and problematic take is going to be. So if you are going to my channel for the first time, you're seeing me for the first time, unless you've been with me for many years, you know where I stand. I don't want to say I'm anti-government, but I really don't trust anything they do that they say, oh, it's good for the people. Where your governors or mayors or senators say, oh, it's just good for the people. These rules and laws and these laws and obedience regulations and just good citizenship and stuff like that. Like, to me personally, I don't trust any of that shit at all. Period. And unfortunately, I don't know if he still is an FBI or his agent or if he still works as a DHS, Department of Homeland Security dude or anything. This guy, Youth Pastor Ryan, I don't know if he still works as an employee for that or he just does YouTube TikTok shorts for the rest of his life. I don't know. Because he's done stand-up comedy. I haven't seen the video for it. I'm hoping he doesn't. That's cool if he just abandoned all that. Because I heard those dudes, anything that has government in it, you're pretty much making like set for life. You're not like a celebrity person or somebody that makes billions and trillions of dollars like the typical music artist fools or Hollywood actors or actresses or freaking comedian fools and sports athletes, etc., etc., like the ones I always say over and over again. But you're making fairly good ass money, nonetheless. Just one difference is you're anonymous and you don't have a social media presence or any of that. But maybe I guess he wanted that social media presence. That's why he got big on TikTok. I think he has like 6 or 7 million plus subscribers or followers over there, and I think he's got like 1 or 2 million YouTube subscribers. So he's doing very, very good. But some of his shit, I liked it so far. It's pretty fucking funny, So let's keep going.
Teenage boys love talking about big toys that go boom.
What do you mean teenage? I've seen your search history. Why do you want to create a counterweight trebuchet that fires watermelons?
Because I want to feed the deer that live in the field across from my house, but I also don't want to leave home.
Oh, okay, and we're off the rails. And according to his Wikipedia, he left the military in 1945.
That's a weird way to say they lost.
Why do they make it sound voluntary? That's like saying Napoleon was a really big fan of living on remote islands.
Okay, what did Ibuka do after?
He started a radio repair shop and a bombed-out department store.
Makes sense if you want to fix things.
That sucks. I did not know any of that. Oh, shit. But I remember he did other ones that talked about stuff from BlackRock and other stuff like that, and Lockheed Martin and a bunch of... I don't think he's ever going to talk about stuff like the real crazy tin bullshit, like the Bilderberg, Rockefeller, Rothschild shit and stuff, and the New World Order and World Economic Forums. I'm hoping. I know he's like, what's it called? This little biography I read about him, like even before I started this video, he said he grew up as a Christian person, but then again, like, I feel like in the United States and a lot of first world countries from that, in Canada and Australia, New Zealand, they say they might be an evangelical good person, but Christian, but they're not really truly living it. I feel like a lot of them are really two-faced. And once again, that's no offense to not even the black people this time or Asians, but like, mainly a lot of predominantly like European white Caucasians. They say that they're that, but then they're have a whole other different side in them, like Dr. Jackal, Mr. Hyde type of shit. They'll be nice to you and friendly to you in person, but like the second they go off and live their own life for something else, like their whole attitude, their personality, persona, I think it just flips like a light switch. I think some of them are very, very evil ass motherfuckers. Do a lot of disgusting ass fucked up shit. Not all of the white people, but some of them I feel like it's like I said in my last video. I don't know if you saw it. I think it was like I don't know. It was the Godzilla Monarch video I did, and I did that reaction or the other reaction for Senor Pelo, or it was another one. I think one of the Dragon Ball Z like last ones, Dragon Ball Z 40th anniversary and Beerus one. It was one of those three rap videos I did last week, and I posted it this Friday, Saturday of last week. I'm saying like, no offense again. Second time I say this, but like I said, I've seen a few of them. I haven't really met too many of them. Well, I have met a bunch of them, obviously, because they're predominant race in this country next to like black people, obviously. And Latinos were like probably third or 3.5 when it comes to our race, being like almost the less predominant version of this country. But maybe between 20, 45, 50, that might change. Who knows? But besides, yeah, like I just feel a lot of them like no offense, I was like some of them just feel like a Hallmark mixed with actually a lot of the white suburb like Caucasian kids that lived in the suburbs area. I just feel like a lot of them are there, and like maybe Gen Zers are probably gonna get this, but millennials and freaking Gen Xers, adults might get this, but a lot of them I just feel like they're like Hallmark and fucking Lifetime cards. They're not really a genuine, authentic, like emotional type of people that they say that they are. And that's not me trying to shit on every single one Caucasian white person that's in America. Like everyone's a fake piece of garbage and they're gonna freaking lie to your face and they try to be a hunky dory and friendly to you and shit like that. But like I don't know, sometimes I just get like this weird aura gut feeling in my stomach, like I don't know, something in the air is telling me this isn't right, man. This is not really how they are on a day-to-day basis, you know. I mean, I get it when it comes to stuff. Maybe when they're like you're going on a date with a certain person. That's and it doesn't even go for white people either. It goes for Asians. Sometimes it might go for black people too. Because I mean, look at all the fake scripted reality shows. Where, fortunately, I'm not trying to like stand out there and like I don't want to have every black person as their victimizations of this and that. But like they just like man, like they get a bad reputation sometimes in this country. But dude, broski, like they say a lot of stuff emotionally off their chest. I know a lot of that shit probably comes from a lot of pain for maybe not every single black dude and black girl has their son or daughter didn't all grow up without having a father and all that shit. I know this. I've seen this shit myself when I lived in the projects firsthand. So I know what that shit's like to a certain extent. But like, I don't know exactly how I was like, because luckily for me, I was raised with my mother and my father both raised me. So there's that. Because my old man would have walked out on me when I was 1, 2, 3 years old. I don't know where the fuck I would have been. I probably would have been in a jail cell somewhere, or worse, I would have been in a grave if my dad didn't raise me or my mom didn't raise me, both of them. So thank Jesus every day. Thank God every day. I had both of my parental figures helping me when I was growing up back then. Because if I didn't, I literally have no idea what I would have been right now. Well, other than that, yeah, back to this dude, Pastor Ryan, like funny ass guy, hilarious. I'm still watching this stuff, but yeah, this is just the thing. I know every race ethnicity has their good side and their bad side to everything. I don't want to just discriminate and say all these people are bad, but all these people could be good. But that's just the thing. And that's probably the same thing for Canada and Australia and New Zealand too. I wouldn't be surprised if it works the same way over there, except over there, I know in the UK there's black people over there, but that's like, I feel there's like the more actual, real, original people, like the Ethiopian dudes and Nigerian dudes that were black were over there. I feel like those black people over there are a lot more authentic and real and straight up with you. I mean, they're still real straight up with the United States too, but like, I don't know. And in Canada, I'm not sure, because I know there's a few areas like Toronto, Vancouver, and maybe parts of that other one, like, not Lancaster, it starts with an M. Max something, I don't know. Fuck. I used to remember the neighbors, where I do KJ's friend used to live at. Montreal, I think. There's a couple of African black dudes over there that live up there, but I think mainly it's a lot of like Indian, Arab, West Indian people that live in all of those areas in the UK too. So I know. Other than that, yeah. I'm not trying to make race ethnicity thing because I know it's a very super touchy, sensitive subject, but that's just, I've always felt a lot about shit, you know? And some people that are white, get offended. You know what? It is what it is. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's just, as a person that was mainly the minority most of their life until they moved to Vegas, when I had a lot more of my peoples that were out here, and I was like, wow, finally, this is what it's like to feel like the majority and not the fucking minority, you know? The shoe was on the other foot for me because, I don't know. I'm not saying every white person's an evil piece of shit and they're fucking fake and they're liars and manipulators. I know there's probably very, very super nice white people out there. I get that. I understand that. I see it. I see the forest passage trees. I know this. And you go, oh, because all the Democrat whites are good to you, all the Republican white people are going to treat you like fucking shit. I don't know. Other than that, yeah, let's keep moving.
Where the broke is.
Then he reunited with Marita, who came from a long line of
Inventors?
Oh.
Electricians?
Oh.
Camera photographers?
Oh, sake and soy sauce.
Huh, what a weird pivot away from delicious.
Yeah, Marita's dad was super supportive, even giving him money for the new venture.
Or Sony.
That's crazy. Alright, hold on. Alright, moving forward.
Money for the new venture.
Or Sony.
Quiet. Tokyo
PS1,
Telecommunications
PS2,
Engineering Corporation.
That's the one I'm waiting for the most when they talk about PS1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's the one I'm waiting for. And maybe the 70s, 80s, or 90s when they made the first radios, or 60s, 50s when they did that in Japan, and in the 1970s, 80s, 90s time. That's when they started going to places like the US and Canada, a lot of the Western American English and Canadian and European areas. That's when Sony started expanding even further. That's when they started getting more bigger mainstream after that. That's the one I'm waiting for.
Got the technology.
Okay, what was first?
The classic technology we all know and love. A rice cooker.
Huh. I mean, technically that's tech.
Rice
The problem is it kind of sucked. It either burned rice or undercooked it, like, all the time.
Kind of impressive it did
Damn.
both.
Yeah, then we got to making everything.
How much everything we talking?
Well, we made Japan's first tape recorder, the Type G, and figured we needed a more global name.
Sony?
First we wanted to call it TTK. That was the same name as a railway company, so...
TTK?
Then Sony?
Occasionally we use Tatsuko as the symbolic acronym, but Americans couldn't pronounce it.
Then Sony?
You'd think, but no. We wanted to go by Tokyo Teletech, but Marina discovered that American company was already...
I've seen him called Tokyo Teletech, even though I didn't see it myself, because this is like what? I think it's between the 50s, 60s, 70s, or 80s, so about between 1 year or 39, 41 years before I was born. I did see that, though, on their, like, Wikipedia thing, the whole origin story of, like, what Sony, how it ended up being, like, invented as a Japanese company, and then it went all over the world after that.
by the name Teletech.
Okay, when is it Sony?
Now, they mix two words, the Latin word sonos, meaning sound or sonic.
Okay, that makes sense. And the other?
Sunny, like the American slang word for a young boy.
Huh.
That was a loan word that in Japanese meant a smart and presentable young man, which Marina and Ibuka considered themselves.
Well, hey, I mean, that's incredibly wholesome from the bomb-making guys.
Yeah, but weirdly enough, their bank hated that name and needed to sign off on it for some reason.
What?
Yeah, super odd for a Japanese company at the time to use Roman letters instead of kanji, and the bank president thought Sony was dumb.
Why does that guy get a vote?
No idea, but he suggested Sony Electronic Industries or Sony Teletech, but Marina was like, nah, man, I don't want to be pinned into one industry.
Oh boy, that was foreshadowing.
Yeah, it turns out having a super generic name is really helpful if you want to do all the things.
Okay, so then you guys did tech.
Yeah, the first Sony-branded product was the TR-55 transistor radio, which was a nightmare, by the way.
Why?
Because Japan didn't have transistor tech yet, so Masura had to secure licensing of it from Bell Labs in the U.S.
Oh, who are they owned by?
Nokia, like the indestructible phone people.
So the Finnish company's U.S. labs gave licensing permission to the Japanese.
So for
I didn't know they got bought off by freaking Nokia, really. Oh, fun fact, that was like one of the first not smartphone, but like old school, like early mid-2000s when I was in middle school and high school. From like 8th grade all the way to freshman, sophomore, junior of my high school time. Nokia was like the very first original phone I had. And at that time, you could only do maybe 15, maybe the most 20, 25 seconds of old school like recordings on your phone if you had the flip phone Nokia, but I didn't have that one, so I could only take pictures with it at the time. Yes, it was very different back then, Gen Zers and Alphas, I'm just saying. It was a way different world in the 90s and 2000s compared to like now, the mid-late 2020s. And eventually the 2030s, whenever we get there. Yeah, I do remember that shit. And then, of course, my senior year was the first time I got a smartphone. Actually, not even my senior year. I still had my old Nokia phone. But in my freshman year in 2008 and 09, like, I started doing community college. That's when I got my first smartphone. It wasn't an iPhone either. It was like, what's it called? It ended up being, I know it was a Samsung, but I don't remember what it was. I think it was from, I don't know, it was the Metro PCS, Boost Mobile, or it was that one, or Sprint. That's before like Sprint and T-Mobile ended up fusing together later on. So it was one of those three that I had. I think it was like freaking the Android 4 or Android 5. It was way old school thing. So I was like literally beginning my early 20s. I was learning how to do this stuff. I was learning how to do the camera thing, the editing stuff for my YouTube videos for the first time when I first started doing like walking vlogging videos after I got out of my classes. I used to do sometimes my vlogging videos. I used to go to the park. Those are my old criticism guy ones, critical guy realization man, which I think some of those I privated because I didn't really like what I said about those things. And in other ones, I think they still might be public, so I don't know. If I decide to leave one here, maybe I'm probably gonna split this into two parts, so that way the video's not that long because it's already like, God, almost 31 minutes, man. Yeah, I'm probably gonna split it for the next one, when he talks about Ticketmaster. So there's that.
And because of that, we became one of the first companies to use transistors in non-military products, which is pretty crazy because that's how all of our tech becomes so small.
That's cool.
Yeah, then we realized we should probably go global, so Sony Corporation of America was founded in 1960.
Wow, what was it like in America?
Well, the TR-63 cracked the market, but Marino was shocked by the mobility of employees between American companies.
What do you mean?
I even wanted to think about the 50s, 60s era, man. And Gen Z fools on Twitter and Reddit and 4chan, and they, even though I wasn't born and raised, I wasn't breathing in the 1950s, 60s. And think it wasn't until maybe the late 70s or 80s. That's when it became a lot more easier for minority peoples that were black or maybe Hispanic Latino especially. Like was able to like they could breathe, have a little bit more breather room without them getting harassed or racially discriminated against white people. Thank God I was raised in the freaking mid late 90s era. I'm not gonna say I got racially discriminated. I remember two actual incidents where I feel like I think I got fucking racially discriminated on by a freaking mainly like two of them. I'm not gonna lie, they were old baby boomer dudes, so I'm not surprised. Or the silent baby boomers. And the one just gave me a dirty ass look and just fucked off and gave me the finger like that. And mine, I had you. I think actually, those was later on. It was like 2010 or 11. So like early 2010s even. It wasn't even the 90s anymore. And like, a lot of these old boomers, some of them just stay stuck in their own ways, you know? And another one, I think it was like when I was like, I don't even know, it was like elementary school or right before I started middle school. So between like, I think 1994 to about 1999. I think, oh, no, it wasn't 1999. It was like, maybe in 2003. So three times I probably got racially discriminated on by not all white people, but this racist asshole motherfucker that happened to be white. And he looked about 65, 70, 80 years old, so I'm not surprised. They probably want to go back to the 1940s, 50s, 60s, where the Caucasian white people are the ones that dominated the fuck out of this land before those more black people and even more and more Latinos started to become more like part of this like country even further and further. Because like, oh, by the way, I'm not trying to get no freaking hate on any. Like I said, every race ethnicity has their own problems, but for the racist asshole motherfuckers, the real ones, not the ones that are just on 4chan, Reddit, and Twitter, and I say, oh, that's racist, that's amazing, bigoted, massive crap. Like the racist ones. Eventually, sooner or later, there's going to be a lot more people that look like me. So fucking goddamn, get used to that shit, you fucking assholes. Okay? We're fine with that? We're cool? For the racist ones, I'm saying. For all you other real nice people that are white and are really real cool as hell with Latinos and blacks, awesome. Then we can actually have an understanding we're fucking human beings, alright? Alright? So, I'm just saying. I'm not just saying, oh, like, all those other white people are bad. You're going to have to get used to by the time that, especially in the 2040s and 50s get around, we're not just going to be in like 12 or 15 or 20 states. It's going to be all 50 states where there's going to be a lot of Hispanic Latinos getting a lot more like more prominent and more higher paying jobs. We're not just going to be freaking maids or freaking people that cut your fucking fronts of your lawn and shit like that anymore. We're going to be in way more higher positions of freaking power by then. Who knows? Unless the freaking AI robot things take over and nobody gets work by the time it's the 2030s or 40s, then the whole human race is screwed. But if that doesn't happen, maybe my freaking peoples, mi gente de raza, we have the advantage to make that go down. You know? Who knows? And like I said, that's not me trying to do a freaking threat or any of that shit. That's usually how the case of history looks. I mean, hell, even if you look at other shit, like when a lot of the Asian people were moving to places like California and Oregon and Washington, probably parts of Texas, it started to become like not completely over dominated by Asian people, but like halfway. Half of those states, especially areas in Florida and probably Hawaii, mainly a lot in Hawaii, there are mainly a lot of Asian descendants there. Or in other places like even New Zealand and Australia. Like, even though I did hear ancient history about the Australians, how a lot of the white colonists dudes that were British, they almost wiped out a lot of the Aboriginal people, which was fricked up to them to do. But I don't know. I guess that evil colonialism just sometimes it just doesn't leave their spirit. They can't see people that are different skin tones as human beings. They just got to see them as either viruses or freaking scum of the earth, which is very sad, honestly. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be a freaking, being a leftist Democrat and you think everything's racist. I'm not trying to be any of that. I just wish there was this fucking time on earth where everyone just knew everyone's just a freaking human being just trying to get the fuck by. That's it. That's all I'm trying to say. If everyone had real actual equality, not the stupid ass DEI, ESG equality or SJW type of shit. I'm just talking about old school, good old fashioned, literal equality. Like, then the world would have been a lot more of a better place. But unfortunately, there's always going to be polarization. You know? So that's it. Let's get back to my boy, this guy. Funny ass fool. Mr. PastorRyan. Let's keep taking it away.
Microsoft manager working at another company. You can just ask if they come work for you.
That's poaching.
There's a word for it? Cool. Anyway, Marines are doing that back in Japan. Filled a whole bunch of positions with really valuable people. Really setting the standard for Japan today.
Okay, glad we gave something.
And we made TVs. Our first being the TVA-301. It was the first all-transistor TV.
And how'd it go?
Well, bad. So Ibuka was like, fine, I'll do it myself. And created the 12-inch Trinitron.
What made it special?
Because it used a single gun with 3 cathodes instead of 3 inline or triangle placed like previous TVs.
Wow, I almost understood that.
Yeah, man, we made a TV so good it won an Emmy Award.
Didn't know that was a category.
Oh.
And we made bomb parts for the U.S. during Vietnam.
Okay, I guess old habits die hard.
1979.
I was going to get something bad later, man. That was a dark time in world history about
Real life insurance.
Wow, you really 180 from bombs to life insurance.
Yeah, that would be the world's first video cassette in 1971. The U-matic.
Nice.
Then we were part of the video format war. We lost.
Not big on winning wars, are you?
Then we also did floppy disks, but those didn't last.
Oh, you mean the save
floppy
icon?
disks.
I'll stab you.
Okay, carry on.
Then it's just the Walkman, the first portable music player.
Okay.
Then we worked with Philips to create the CD. Ever heard of it?
Yeah, everybody has.
Yeah, then we teamed up with Philips again to create the SACD for audio encoding. And we had a format war again with DVD audio.
And who won?
Actually, we both lost because people just like regular CDs so much. So I guess we won, but like in the past.
Okay, when did you get...
80s, 90s, and now 2000s, so it's getting more modern pretty soon.
Gaming.
But first we just did parts, like the sound chip for the SNES.
I love this NES.
Yeah, but then we started working on a CD-ROM-based system with Nintendo. We even
that.
announced it at the Consumer Electronics Show in June of 1991 as the Nintendo PlayStation.
Okay, but
I
then...
remember hearing about that one. I think I even did a video on that in like 2012 or 2014, a while back. That's when I was still like Nintendo Anime Manga Sony Freak. I used to be called that at the time, or Nintendo Freak 2011. That was my older original freaking username at the time. I think when I did that video, it was like an old history of that. I think Sony wanted to like do a, since they're both Japanese Asian companies, they wanted to do like a freaking deal with Nintendo to make like a Sony and Nintendo fuse like video game console, but it didn't end up going well because Nintendo was very super overprotective with their IPs, even in the 80s and 90s. Like, just like how they are now, unfortunately. That's something, unfortunately, don't change. Even in 2026, they're still extremely ultra super protective, like freaking like Mother Goose, sort of Mother Bear protection levels of secrecy when it comes to Nintendo stuff. They do not want anyone stealing their shit. They don't want Microsoft taking their stuff, or Sony, and probably Steam too. So, fortunately, some shit never changes.
And then they betrayed us. They said they wanted to partner with Philips instead and went back on our agreement.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, apparently they were nervous that if we had success with them, that we would then muscle our way into the video game market. And now they assured that we would.
Ah, vengeance time.
Our president Norioga was so angry he created Sony Computer Entertainment, put Ken Kutaragi in charge, and said destroy them.
How'd it go?
We used CD storage to do 3D graphics to create the PlayStation.
Did that work?
We weren't sure if it was going to work, but then we saw this guy, Yu Suzuki, partner with Lockheed Martin of all people to get some cool tech for a dope racing.
I just said that earlier, man. One thing I know is that even if they make all these super big innovative things like airplanes and warplanes and anything that travels, a lot of them are probably gonna, this is me personally, in my opinion, even though I'm not God or Jesus or the Holy Spirit or any of that. Most of them, a lot of them are just Freemasons that sold their souls so they could do all these beautiful, wondrous things for humanity. But a lot of them are gonna end up burning out when they end up dead, unfortunately. And I know Lockheed Martin and the BlackRock and all those other things from the Rothschilds and all those places and Boeing working on for them. Yeah, a lot of them are going to make it to heaven. A lot of them, in my opinion, are going straight to the lake of fucking fire for all fucking eternity and damnation of eternity on top of that. At least that's one thing hopefully I don't ever have to experience, God forbid, after I leave this life. Praying I make it up to the pearly gates, but it's only God's only be able to one to have judgment on me for that, which fortunately may or may not be a thing. I'm hoping it is, but if not, I'll ask him at the last second, just send me to some endless edge of the universe, like Limbo Land, if Limbo even exists. That's what I want to go to, just in case heaven isn't unfortunately on the list for the books for me. I'm just saying. Now let's keep going.
Why are they always involved somehow?
Let's say I ended up being too cautious with the tech, so we just jumped into 3D games and Namco abandoned Nintendo to make our games.
That wasn't the last betrayal.
Yeah, then Nintendo went and made the GameCube, which had little kitschy discs, so we lured more people to our side.
Yeah, the Capcom 5 is like the greatest betrayal in gaming history.
Yeah, they could have had an easy win with Resident Evil 4, considered one of the best games of all time, but instead, we also got a shot at it. We sold more.
That game, Resident Evil 4 to that one, 3 and 4, I remember this one dude I used to hang out with in middle school, even my freshman year of high school, he would not shut up about how much of a fanboy he was for Silent Hill and Resident Evil. It drove me up the freaking wall. 13 to 16-year-old me, dude, that was a migraine on freaking steroids. I get it, he was a big Resident Evil fan. I played a few of the Resident Evil. I think after Resident Evil 5, I didn't give a fuck about that franchise too much anymore. But he was a diehard fan of it, just like how I'm still, to a certain extent, a diehard fan of the old school, the Grand Theft Auto games, a lot of the Dragon Ball Z shit. Two other ones I'm trying to think of, that Metal Gear Solid, Siphon Filter, I was big on that. And Splinter Cell, I used to love the hell out of Splinter Cell. And two other ones, the old school Crash Bandicoot Spyro games and Rayman games, the old school versions of those. Some of the new school ones are still alright too, but I don't know, maybe because I'm going to be in the nostalgia bias dick a little bit. I'm sorry. The older times were cooler than the newer ones, even though, graphic wise, it's a lot better with the newer ones. I get that. Way more remastered HD graphics, 4K, 8K, ultra, hyper realistic graphic thing looks way nicer. I get it. They polished it up better, but they left certain things out that really pissed me off when they did the remakes, remasters for the Spyro trilogy and the Crash Bandicoot trilogy. And Rayman, too. Fortunately, we're never going to get nothing from Jack and Dexter or another one, Sly Cooper, so very sad. But yeah, dude, this dude will worship the hell out of the Resident Evil and freaking Silent Hill series. And I don't think I really like Silent Hill at all. I never played any of the Silent Hill games. I've seen what some of that look like. That shit would not do good with me if I went to sleep at night. I probably have nightmares for about 3 or 6 months. So I cannot play games like that at all. And that's not me being a Bible thumper or a Christian person or any of that. I don't know. That's just that shit. I don't even care if people call me a chicken shit or a pussy or a coward or the F word slur. Go for it, man. Have at it. But if you want to have your souls a lot more demented and fucked up, go for it. That's fine. You got your taste in freaking video games, and I fucking got mine. I'll leave it at that. Anyways. Yeah, dude. Oh my god. Dude. That guy, he would not shut up about it, man. He would love that. And then the other two ones I used to love like crazy, besides Rayman, Gex the Gecko and obviously Pokemon. Very, very big one in Pokemon. So yeah, there's that.
Of the Nintendo exclusive games than they did.
Absolutely brutal.
God, our original PlayStation beat the brakes off the N64, probably because our controllers were developed for human hands.
And after?
The PlayStation 2 became the best-selling console of all time.
I've heard so many things about that. I used to play the N64 a few times. I said this story a bunch of times in my freaking channel before, but when I used to go to my cousin's house because they had the Nintendo 64, I didn't have the PS1 and PS2, and I didn't get another Nintendo one after SNES until like the GameCube got released. It was the limited edition and silver platinum one. So like thank God they fixed that issue because that stupid thing in the middle, bro, that would make my hands so uncomfortable when I had to play that sometimes. It was really annoying. Even the 90s ones, they had another one that was kind of, I don't know if it was bootleg or it was just a cheaper Chinese or Vietnamese company or Hong Kong sweatshop company, but like they had the other one was the Mad Cats one. That one even felt way better than the original N64 one. So he had the Mad Cats one and he had the freaking, what's it called, the original N64. I would always, when we were playing 2-player mode on games, I would always ask for the Mad Cats one. Because that one was a lot more extra comfortable. Even if it was cheaper, I don't care. At least the buttons didn't like mess up and get stuck in all the time. That stupid thing in the middle, I always wonder why they did that for the control design. So I'm not gonna lie, the Sony one and the Sega one, yeah, they had way, way extra comfortable, better remote controls for games compared to the N64. I don't know what the hell Nintendo was thinking there. And this came from an old school, like hardcore Nintendo fanboy too.
Absolutely shellacking every anime.
I love a good revenge story.
Yeah, the top 13 consoles by units sold. We're 5 of them. PlayStation 1 through 5.
So what do you do now?
Well, we continue to pretty much do everything. Car audio, computing, 55% of the total global image sensor market.
Wait, what?
Yeah, second largest camera manufacturer in the world and a semiconductor sales leader.
Oh my.
And the third largest TV manufacturer in the world.
Well, at least that's it.
Oh, it keeps going.
I know that. Yep, still really big on doing a lot of car. I think most of them just do it in Japan though, when it comes to like their cars and stuff. Because not once here in the United States have I ever seen like a Sony car here ever in America, unless maybe they got them on display if they do like a car show thing, maybe in California or New York City if they're doing like a real expensive car show there, or like whenever they do the CES thing over here in Vegas once a year, all the rich people go gather up, or the influencers and maybe some Hollywood actors or movie people, music people, or sports people. They get an invite for it. Maybe they might show the Sony car here once every year when they do that whole CES thing. But other than that, I think it's just for a show. I don't know if there's ever going to be a day like what they did with Tesla. Like what was it, 2006 or 2008, I think, when they were created. But like I didn't know about them until way later on in like 2014 or 15. And then that's when they started getting a lot more extra popularity. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. I don't know if there's ever going to be a day where we get to see like somebody actually just random regular people driving like really cool Sony cars. That would be sick as fuck. And I know they're real big in making the cameras and the TVs and all that too. So I don't know. Maybe one day.
Phones and robotics, like this cute little guy, the Curio.
Aw, but horrifying.
Also, biotech and healthcare for cytometers, and partner with Olympus for endoscopes to shoot in 4K. That's right, your insides, movie quality.
Yeah, you know what? That one could have stayed at 1080p.
Oh.
I do not want to see my insides that well.
We also do movies, and occasionally, one of them happens to be good.
Right.
Spider-Man, the
Movies.
Karate Kid, Men in Black.
How can I forget about that? Their movie division department, Sony Movies Department of the Division, or department, Sony like studios and shit. I'm not gonna lie, some of the movies they did come out with over the years in the 90s and 2000s and early mid 2010s were good. I think it was, of course, when the late 2010s, early 2020s came around, the whole 2017, 18, the Me Too movement, and the whole woke crap and Gamergate and all that shit started screwing up popularity in movies and stuff. That's when a lot of that shit went down the freaking drain, bro. That's just that Madam Web. Oh, jeez, that is garbage fest there.
McCraven the Hunter, Morbius.
Bad.
We don't talk about those.
Oh, mierda to the shit. Thank God I didn't waste any of my money on those two. I think for what's it called? For not for Morbius and Craven the Hunter, but the other one. Fortunately, Madam Web, I actually did spend like $15-20 on that, and I was really pissed off because that movie sucked balls. I think there's one or two action scenes that were nice. I know it's supposed to be super hardcore girl power thing. And of course for fun fact for Gen Zers, that one girl is like your version of like what our not baby boomer, Gen Xers and Gen Millennials were when we used to look at girls like Carmen Electra, and Pamela Anderson, maybe Jennifer Lopez, and maybe Gwen Stefani. I don't know. Like, dude, I know for those two, for Gen Zers, for a lot of boys that are Gen Zers, oh man, they like those two really pretty girls. I forget. I want to say I don't forget their names, but I don't know if they're both music artists and actresses, or one's just a movie actress and one's a music artist only, or one does both movies and acting. Like, I think it's the Sydney Sweeney girl that was in that movie. I didn't even recognize her. She played the dorky, nerdy-looking girl. So damn, she did a wild good job on that. I'll say that. I know a lot of Gen Z dudes that love those two girls a bunch. Which I'm not surprised. I just what they are. A little of it's meat and eye candy most of the time, which, you know, I'm not surprised you're thinking a lot of dirty, effed up thoughts about them too, Gen Z kids. I know. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
TV shows like Jeopardy and The Wheel of Fortune. Really? Yeah, we bought Columbia Pictures, then we got hacked, proving we didn't know what we were doing with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
We made fun of North Korea, then upped our security details. Probably unrelated.
Yeah, not a good way to go.
I continue to do a ton of music and even anime. We go on Crunchyroll.
Did you ever stop doing new business side quests?
No, because we also still have financial services like Sony Life, Sony Bank, and Sony Insurance. Why? It's a weird one. We actually offer such low rates that it could affect our premium brand name with everything else we do.
Huh, the only thing you did cheaper for people was finance. You're a weird duck.
Yeah, and then finally, electric vehicles and batteries, partnering with Honda.
Oh my gosh, I think I could live my whole life and only touch Sony products.
Pretty much. You can almost keep all of it.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm sure we agree that most things now aren't meant to be bought and owned by the consumer.
Oh, I hate where this is going.
So, for instance, we removed the Discovery app from our consoles, including anything people might have paid for, because, you know, they had it long enough.
What else is bad?
Well, Greenpeace hates us, but they hate everyone.
Fair.
We got busted when a document got leaked about us, you know, spying on environmentalists to counter their movements, specifically based around getting legislation around electronics companies to clean up their toxic chemicals. I mean, come on.
Oh, I hate it.
Now we're trying to get 75% of our buildings to geothermal power, so...
That's nice.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Other than one time that we kind of ran a cartel on videotapes.
What?
Oh, you know, the EU found us, Fuji, and Maxwell colluding and doing illegal contracts.
What? Don't tell me it was the other dude, Jeff Epstein, that got connections with him too, and Ghislaine Maxwell. That's bad, man. Ooh, that is way bad, that connection with that. And again, Sony's our corporate billionaire, trillionaire companies. Probably a lot of fools way at the top that a lot of probably, allegedly, can't say exactly, because I wasn't in there with the rooms with them. Only God and the Holy Spirit know what was going on in those evil, effed up rooms. But it's probably a lot of paganism and Wiccanism, and obviously a lot of crazy, fucked up satanic seances and rituals are probably doing in those things. I can't even begin to say how super evil that shit probably was. Allegedly, though, I gotta say. Unfortunately. That's who thought Sony would have been one of them, though. That's fucked up.
You know, 85% of the market.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, then they raised our fine by a third because we were obstructing the investigation or shredding evidence during raids.
You shredded the evidence of the things you did? Oh. What did your founders really do during World War II?
Okay, I'll let you know. But first, you have to put together all these little pieces of paper.
It's swishy time.
Those pieces of paper. That's a bit. Alright, so that's the end of the video. I'm just going to do super speedy fast thoughts, use opinion, speculation. I'm going to do part 2 of this with the telemarketing one. So it's a continuation. Link down below if you want to check it out. Just long story short, I know I went on a whole bunch of side tangent rants in this video. Should have saved it for another one. Maybe I will one day. I'll probably put it in the backup channel, my Critical Guy Rosation Man's 09 channel, because I really don't do that many posting videos. It's like maybe, lucky 6 or 8, 10 times at the most. I'll probably get into those type of emotional raw rants like that. I'll say this. Bravo. Bravo, Mr. freaking Youth Pastor Ryan. Very bravo. Tip my hat off to you, my guy, because you definitely did your research on certain things. I didn't even know shit about Sony besides, you know, their video game stuff and their movie stuff and their TVs and cameras and smartphones and the other two things I kind of knew about a little bit, like their old school 70s, 80s shit, like when they made the Walkman and their headphones and their headphone, giant mega headphone things that they're used to using, and even their TV stuff, like I said, and their limited edition cards in Japan only. But other stuff, I didn't even know half of that shit. They made the little microchips for certain things. And geothermal engineering, I didn't know they were in charge of shit like that. Or they were cahoots of that evil, demonic Satanist bitch fucking Ghislaine Maxwell. or the Epstein fool. Wouldn't be surprised they had connections with him too, unfortunately. What else? Or they even like did other stuff like they were involved, unfortunately, in the Vietnam War and the Korean War and a couple other messed up, fucked up wars that happened probably, I don't know, maybe in the 30s, 40s. Maybe they made the radios for when the whole WW2 thing was happening. I don't know. I'll never know that. And some other shit I even know about them as well. Like they burned evidence of here and there, like hearsay and this other stuff about like getting involved with. And I didn't know getting involved with like trying to be corrupted and stuff like that. Like that's sad. That's why I can't really worship or idolize any of these freaking corporations. Even if they brought me joys on 1990s kids, I didn't know any of that shit was going on. From when I was like 6 to like 12 years old, when the PS1, PS2 was a thing. I literally had no idea none of that was lurking under their freaking closet of scams and a lot of like scandals out there that they had. I didn't even know none of that shit happened at all. I was a very, very tender age of 5 to 12 years old. I didn't know any of that was popping off. So yeah, that's all I say for now. Peace out, ladies and gentlemen. Flip side. See you guys in the next one. Stay tuned for part 2 on the Ticketmaster one. I do that video, alright? Take it easy, everyone. I'm out. Later.